Hi everyone, it's Melissa, and today I am reviewing Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. This is a short science fiction novel. It's the first in a series called the Themis Files. It starts with a young girl called Rose who falls into this giant pit while she's out riding her bike. And when firefighters find her, she is lying on top of this giant metal hand. No one knows where this hand has come from. When people start to study it, they notice that its composition is seemingly impossible, that there shouldn't be enough of this particular metal to create such a hand, and that it is very old, 2,000 or 3,000 years old or something like that. But the technology was far above what any known civilization would have been able to do at that time. A couple of decades later, Rose is a physicist and she ends up being the lead on a secret project backed by the US government to not only study this hand, but to find other pieces of this body, because people believe there are other body parts and that this should form an entire body. So we're following several characters as they're helping to search for these parts, study them, and kind of what happens from there. The narrative structure is very interesting. It's told entirely in dialogue, primarily from these case reports, these interviews that you're reading the transcripts of. There's the occasional diary or journal entry, but primarily it's these interviews. The interviewer is this unnamed character that we never really learn a lot about. He's very mysterious, and his intentions are kind of muddied. We're not sure how much we can trust him. The book does get a fair amount of characterization. I felt like the characters were different enough and we got to know them a decent amount, despite the fact that they are kept a bit at arm's length just because of the narrative structure, and we never get any sort of internal monologue. The closest we get is a couple of diary entries, but there's no first person point of view. We don't really get their inner thoughts, really. I wouldn't say there's any deep characterization, but we do get to know the characters. The book has this kind of mystery element that's slowly revealed over the course of the novel. What is this technology? How does it work? Why was it built? Who put it there? And then what's going to happen as they discover more about this artifact? The bits surrounding the technology itself I thought were very interesting as they discover more and more about it. But what I also found interesting in this book were the kind of political bits. Obviously, this is a secret project, but cat gets out of the bag at some point. You can't keep something this big a secret for very long. So that added a nice dynamic to the story. And also, I found the characters interesting in that you're never entirely sure or convinced what everyone's motivation is because we don't get a lot of internal thoughts. So it's unclear if people are involved in this project because of self-interest, because of power, scientific curiosity. Maybe they are just in it just to discover information. We're never quite sure what everyone's thinking and what their motivation is. As I mentioned, this is the first in a science fiction series called the Themis Files. I wasn't aware of that when I borrowed it from the library, so that hampered my enjoyment a little bit because I didn't realize the story wasn't going to get wrapped up. But if you go into it knowing that ahead of time, I think it'll make for a more enjoyable reading experience. That being said, I did enjoy this book. It was even better because I listened to it on audiobook, and if you are able to, I would highly recommend reading this in audiobook format because it's these transcripts and the entire book is basically dialogue. And because the audiobook is a full cast of characters, there are several narrators, one for each character. It makes it a very immersive, enjoyable reading experience, and I think it makes the story a lot more engaging. This isn't the type of deep, thought-provoking science fiction asking very big questions about humanity or the universe. That's not the type of book that this is. But if you're looking for something, a science fiction novel that's just more about the premise or just a lot of fun to read, then I would recommend picking this one up. If I finish this series, I will do another review of the series as a whole, but I probably will continue with it at some point because, like I said, the story doesn't conclude in a way that's very satisfying, so I think I'll have to continue to get more answers. If you've read this book, please share your thoughts below. I'd love to have a chat with you in the comments. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.